Wild Bill 2023. Gentlemen, I grew up watching pro wrestling, and you two were such a pleasure to watch. Thank you very much for that. My question for you both is who would you want to be the booker of AEW in place of Tony Khan? Thank you, and God bless. I'll let you go first.
I'm not suggesting that anybody be the booker instead of Tony Khan. What I'm suggesting is Tony Khan be more open-minded to the veterans and the creative minds that are around him and been there and done that. And I can tell by the product that that's not happening all the time. I can tell by watching that the talent is booking a lot of their own angles. Tony might be saying yes or saying no, but Tony Khan is not a booker. Tony Khan is a matchmaker. There's a big difference. You want a dream match? Go to Tony Khan. He'll tell you what dream match you put on. You want an angle booked out for 6 months? I'm sorry. And I'll give you the reason why. Eric, what learning tree did you sit under when you first got in this business?
Vern Gagne.
Pretty respectable booker, right?
Yep.
Who did Paul Heyman sit under? Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes. Dusty and all of the great managers from the past. Enough learning trees. My point is this. Every great booker in this industry sat under the learning tree of another great booker at one time before they ever picked up a pencil. What great booker did Tony Khan ever sit underneath?
Dave Meltzer. The Dirt Sheets. And there's some chat rooms.
I'm going to forget you even said that.
There's some chat rooms. Wise Bucker Feathers in those chat rooms, brother.
His money, his bat, his ball, his promotion. If he wants to book on the fly, fine. But it's going to take years before you figure out your own mistakes and get up into a groove where you can call yourself a booker, where you can say, here's my main event for All In Wembley next year. And instead of just making it a main event as a dream match, I'm going to make it my main event and tell a story, i.e. Cody Rhodes versus the Bloodline. A phenomenal main event at WrestleMania with tons of backstory, developed characters, and it all comes together in one grandiose moment when Cody Rhodes finally finishes this chapter of his story and gets the 1, 2, 3. Danielson versus Ospreay is a fantastic match. It's fun to watch, but I can only pop so many times. I can only go, whoa, wow, holy shit, this is awesome, fight forever. I can only do that so much. A human being has many, many emotions. And I want to tap into every one when I'm taking them on my roller coaster ride of a story and my roller coaster ride of a match. Because if I can get you to emotionally invest in something, the finish is going to be that much better. Exactly. When you're making love, if you build it up the right way, the finish is that. Yeah, exactly. There you go. I'm trying to be a little nice here, Rick. If you build it, if the foreplay is good, if the caressing is good, if the hugging is good, if the kissing is good, oh my God, you get aroused. And then when everything comes together, once you get to the finish, it's like, oh my God, I need a cigarette. That was so good. As opposed to, let's just pull our pants down and party, which is good every once in a while. But for the most part, I want the buildup. So I don't think anybody should, I don't know who I would give the pencil to. But if there was a gun to my head and I had to hand Tony's pencil to another person, I would hand it to somebody who had experience as a booker or somebody that I know had sat under the learning tree of a booker, i.e. Dustin Rhodes.
Wow. Great call on that, my man. Wow. You know, I'm friends with Dustin. I saw Dustin a couple of weeks ago. We chatted. I mean, you know, we don't hang out. We don't send each other birthday cards or anything like that. But I don't know why Dustin never occurred to me. But could there anybody be more right for that role than Dustin Rhodes? Because Dustin not only was born under that learning tree, and just by sheer proximity would have absorbed more knowledge that turns into instinct than probably any of the top guys on that roster right now. but he also worked in WWE and understands that aspect of story. Because there's no one right way to do things. There's, you can merge ideas, you can merge ideologies or philosophies. What you're talking about right now is the style of wrestling, the art of wrestling that I appreciate the most, which is character and story told in a physical opera. That's what I love. But I think with AEW, and the reason why Tony's probably not listening to too many people and letting the talent book the shows is because Tony's philosophy about what he wants. I'm guessing now, we've never obviously had this conversation, just based on what I see. He's in it for the spot fest style. Not that it's not all that way. Don't get me wrong. I'm not throwing a wet blanket over everything. But the things that Tony seems to do most often is more about, the Osprey Danielson match. Phenomenal friggin' match for what it was. If that's what you like, my God, you got more than enough of what you like for the next 6 months.
Tony does a phenomenal job of catering to his current audience,
which is the smallest portion of the broadest wrestling audience. That has been my bitch from day one. And it's not even a bitch. Dude, embrace it. If that's what you want to be, do not be embarrassed. Be fucking proud of it. Embrace it. But then quit throwing bombs over here because you're doing something they're not doing and they're doing something you're not doing. So there's no need to compare yourself, particularly when you're taking shots at the 800-pound gorilla from down here in the basement. Don't do that. You're losing goodwill.
And how could you not? Here's my thing. Listen, at the end of the day, you lost. At the end of the day, Heyman lost. You all lost to Vince. I don't care how, but you all lost. But you came fucking close. You came real close. Thus, your whole 83 weeks podcast. This is a mind that whether you came up with all the ideas of yourself or you're smart enough to listen to other people's great ideas, you were the guy that had Vince McMahon on the ropes like no other promoter, booker, owner, yada, yada ever had. I'll be damned if I'm not going to pick your brain. How the fuck did you put Vince on the ropes? I'm not asking you that question now.
Right.
But you did.
Because I almost gave you the answer right on this show. We'd have been here till tomorrow morning.
but I don't, you legit, and you know the details of this. All I know is the tip of the iceberg. Eric almost put Vince out of business. Why wouldn't I want to pick your brain? Let me ask you this. You've been on AEW television 3 or 4 times?
Twice, I think.
Has your brain ever been picked?
No.
Foolishness. My opinion, foolishness. But what do I know? I'm only one half of the most decorated tag team in the history of pro wrestling.
And a smart
Just ask me, I'll tell you.
And a smart mucker father too, just by virtue of this conversation. That's a conversation that if Tony hears that conversation, he's a fool for not picking up the phone and calling you, because that's a depth of analysis into what makes it really work that you're not going to get there's not many people that can explain it the way you just explained it, because they don't know it the way you know it, that are available to have a conversation with. There are some people out there, most of them under contract currently, and I know you offered to do it for free. Sit down, have a meal with the man and give him a point of view. To not take advantage of that, I think, is the thing that disappoints me the most. I mean, it's an ignorant person that isn't willing to, when I say ignorant, I mean lack of information and knowledge. If you're an ignorant person because of your lack of information or knowledge about a particular field of endeavor, no matter what that may be, find people that know more than you and bring them into the tent. Listen to them. You don't have to do what they say. You're not working for them, but listen. As Bully just said, open your mind, because it may change your perspective, particularly when you look at what's actually working. WWE's numbers year over year are up, positive, green across the board. AEW's are down during the same period of time. Every one of them are down year over year. Well, Tony's supposed to be some kind of an analytics expert. Analyze that, muckerfather. You don't even need a calculator. All right, one more question, super chat, and then we're going to get into it.
I just want to follow that up one quick, because there's a little bit more to this. I have been asked on social media frequently, Bully, would you ever want to be the booker of AEW? The answer is no, because I know what my weaknesses are in this business. And one of my weaknesses, Eric, is a blank piece of paper. I will stare at that blank piece of paper all night long and not write anything down on it. But if you write down on paper what you want, I'll book that shit out for a year. I don't make things. I make things better. That might sound pompous. It's not meant to sound pompous.
I get it.
It's accurate. You give me something. You tell me, Bubba, I want to go with this and this. How do we get, because I know this guy versus this guy will draw money, but I just don't know how to get there. That's where I come in. Helping people, helping pull characters out of people that they never knew existed within themselves. Spending time with talent and getting a feel for what their real personality is. I said it on Busted Open. At the end of the day, Cody Rhodes is a heel. He's got heel written all over him. He's tormented. He's Anakin Skywalker. And all he needs is the right emperor in Paul Heyman to pull it out of him. Now, I can go all over with this, but I would never want to be a booker. I offered up my services for free. Why? Because of my genuine love for the wrestling industry. This industry has done very well by me. I'm very blessed, very lucky, and I gave it my absolute fucking all. And if you truly love an industry, you will do whatever you possibly can to give back to it. Paul Heyman was offered the pencil in TNA. He said, I'll take it. He goes, you don't pay me for 6 months. I'll do it on the arm for free. But if I get your numbers up to a certain rating, you give me 50% of the company. Dixie wouldn't pull the trigger.
And it wasn't just the money. She would have never given up that much control. She couldn't. She just emotionally, you know that.
Yeah.
She wanted to be the female Vince McMahon. And if anybody else would have started even if Paul would have been successful, had somehow, and Dixie's parents would have never, ever gone for that deal. But let's play. Maybe they would. Paul comes in. The minute he started turning TNA around, do you know what would have happened? The chatter would have started coming up. Paul Heyman, TNA, Paul Heyman, Dixie Carter. Who was that Dixie lady again? And that wasn't going to happen. So it was twofold.